So what got my attention this week? Basically, a lot of apps and popular social media platforms are taking on Clubhouse. So if you don't know, Clubhouse is a real-time audio streaming app which gone really viral. And so now a lot of social media apps, and not only social media apps, are launching Discord, Clubhouse like features. So first is Discord. So Discord is like a real-time messaging. It's kind of like a Slack. So basically, Discord introduced something like stage channels. So I created a separate video about that. So basically, now you can go to Discord and you can create a stage channel. And so for that, you need to create your own server, get that like to community category. So it should be not a simple server, but community. And then you can create a stage, which is basically a Clubhouse feature in Discord. So it is for free. You don't need to upgrade and all of that. There are also, in addition to that, voice channels where you can just talk in voice already. So there are like text channels and voice channels in Discord. So I'm reading from TechCrunch. So Discord says the new kind of channel will be useful for stuff like voice-based MIAs, interviews, book clubs, and even karaoke. So that's that. Then there is LinkedIn. LinkedIn also confirms it's working on Clubhouse too. So LinkedIn has now confirmed it's testing social audio experience in its app, which would allow creators on its network to connect with their community. LinkedIn formalized some of these efforts with the launch of new creator mode. So that's that. So that's kind of cool. LinkedIn, it can be super interesting for them because imagine you are just in your like professional network, and you can just start an audio chat. So it can be super cool and interesting and exciting. LinkedIn says we are seeing nearly 50% growth in conversation on LinkedIn reflected in stories, video shares, and posts on the platform. And they're saying we are doing some early tests to create a unique audio experience connected to your professional identity. And there are some early drafts of LinkedIn stories. Not stories, just like audio experience. So next, Twitter. Twitter already launched something like Twitter Spaces, and I created video overviews about that. And I think at the moment it is one of the main actually competitors to Clubhouse, because a lot of people are using Twitter, and so it just feels natural. You are tweeting, you're using Twitter app, and then here it is, Twitter Spaces, how it's called. So Twitter Space, and then you have this audio experience on Twitter. So that's kind of cool as well. So I did a video overview about that, and it's released, so it's live, but it's in beta version. So if you want to participate in Twitter Spaces, just follow some interesting big Twitter names or some creators. And basically in your Twitter app on mobile, in the top left, you will see some like bubble, like pink or something like tabs, and you can tap on that and you can start listening to audio. And the more you listen, the higher is the chance that you will get invited to this beta. And so I was invited, and now when I tap to create a tweet in my bottom right icon, I can just create a Twitter space, and it's like real-time audio experience, which looks super similar, which is similar to Clubhouse. And it's also interesting because Twitter announced something like super follows, I guess. So where you can basically have people pay you, and Twitter is also working on like so you can to connect in Patreon or to connect in Venmo, PayPal to Twitter. And for example, if someone is talking, you can just send tips via Twitter. So this is the way to monetize your Twitter following, and it's super exciting. Also, like TechCrunch reports that Facebook is working on something around Clubhouse. New York Times reported that back in February. There aren't like exact features or announcements, but there are just some prototypes, and social experience, audio social experience could fit within Facebook's existing app. So yeah, you can see something like live audio or video room with friends. So there are already video rooms on Facebook, but you can also select live audio. So that's cool. Well, yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg joined Clubhouse, and on his profile also like Sheryl Sandberg and head of Instagram. And there was a meme on Clubhouse. People were discussing like how many weeks will it take until this feature is live until Clubhouse like feature is live on Instagram or Facebook. And then Mark Zuckerberg in his bio on Clubhouse basically just told something like, we are copying shit out of this, and then Sheryl Sandberg, and Instagram they just all reposted this phrase, so it's pretty funny. But in the end, of course, they are doing some similar feature. So what else? So we have already Discord, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and now also I did a video about Telegram. So in Telegram, which is like a messenger app, super popular actually in Eastern Europe, in Russia, but is gaining traction because a lot of people are switching from WhatsApp to Telegram, because kind of Telegram is more secure and Telegram doesn't share your data with Facebook. So Telegram also has voice features, and now they announced something like voice chats 2.0, and basically in Telegram channels or Telegram groups now you can create these voice chats, and also and you can invite up to 1 million listeners, because like in Clubhouse there are there is a cap like 5,000 or 8,000, so they're increasing this cap every time, but basically that's what it is. So so now also like Telegram has that. So all the apps are basically running after this live streaming social experience. So this is the main, like the coolest feature right now in all these consumer apps. And basically this new wave of real-time audio gave some new engagement and new opportunities in consumer apps, because a lot of investors were talking that consumer apps are basically done. It's not possible to get an investment in that area and all of that. But seems with real-time audio, these apps, consumer apps, are still hot and still interesting. So these are just my 5 cents. So check it out. Definitely check out Clubhouse. So a lot of people right now are leaving Clubhouse and it's became too spammy. But I still discover some interesting rooms, and there are some super interesting new experiences. People are experimenting and creating a lot of ways to interact with the audience, a lot of super interesting formats. So before it was just like, hey, I'm a speaker, I'm speaking on a stage, and you are the audience, you are listening. Now there are more interactions, more formats. People try to find themselves, get more followers. So it's actually a fun time. Of course, there are a lot of all this kind of bullshit coaches who are trying to sell you courses for like thousands of dollars. But try to avoid them, just unfollow them, and keep your hallway in the nice. Keep it just tidy, and you still can find some interesting rooms on Clubhouse. But let's see how it evolves and how other big names in tech are copying and getting this feature. Of course, like Slack, like Stuart Butterfield, he was in the room in Clubhouse and he just said it straight. When also there was a Clubhouse founder in that room, he just told us like, yeah, we will build something like that in Slack as well. So there you have it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mr. Hackyo. Follow, subscribe to my podcast. Visit my website, mrhack.io.